Toria Tomlinson. She's here to talk to us about our very well documented extended life expectancy. In addition to our financial planning that we just discussed, and the investments, what else do we really need to consider to secure us as women and making sure that we have longer and fulfilling lives and careers? Please.
And thank you so much, wherever you are, for setting us up. What a story. And such an important message there. So I'm going to start with asking, the 100-year life. Who's heard that phrase? Could number you? Cool, but have you actually thought about what does that mean for me? And what I want to talk about is, what does that 100-year life mean for society, and what does it mean for you? The phrase was coined by two academics, Professors Linda Grattan and Andrew Scott, who have written a best-selling million books they've sold now around the world, talking about the 100-year life. It's extremely popular, but actually very few people are really doing much about what is going to change because we're nearly longer. The World Economic Forum says that half the people born today are going to live, just think about this, not just 100 years old, but 105 years old. That's a lot, isn't it? At the same time, you've got a declining birth rate, I'm sure we've worked out about that, and we've got an aging population. So nearly half the workforce is going to be aged over 50 by 2030. That's just 6 years from now. What is it doing about all of this? If you get your pension at 67, this means that you're going to be probably retired for longer than you worked. Now, looking around, all look very young to me. Now, I'm guessing we've got quite a few people who might have 30 years. Imagine what that means. So just imagine the life that you've spent so far. You're going to have all of that time. What have you achieved in that already? All of that time ahead of you as you're retired. So what to tell it, isn't it? And does that horrify you? Or does it excite you? Well, I'm excited. I'm 68, and I've got plans for the next 20 or 30 years. I'm certainly not going to retire, I'll tell you that. And I think we're such lucky people to have a really exciting time ahead. But there are a few problems with it. And first of all, where on earth did this concept of retirement come from? It was Otto von Bismarck, who was a German chancellor, in 1880. He introduced a pension, for a universal pension, the first one, for everybody who was aged over 70. At that time, the average life expectancy, the average age for most people alive, was just 40 years. That's 40 years per pension at 70. Now, on average, age when we die is 82 years old. So we've got a big problem because, frankly, everybody's retiring far too young. Partly because of what Aisha said about money, but also because this is full of opportunity, and frankly, the worst thing I could do is to retire, as far as I'm concerned. So, I will just tell you a bit about my background. Frankly, I'm nothing special, and I've had a chronic illness since I was 19. I'm not going to discuss it as sort of need today. So, my background was, I started my career in aerospace. I then used to sell fighter jets around the world for what's done pretty well. I then went on to the London leadership team for EY at the age of 32. I then was lucky enough to find somebody to marry me and have a wonderful family. At the same time, I started a business at the age of 35, and that was a PR comms business. Fast forward, and I had a lovely family. My lovely daughter, one of my daughters, is here today. I don't know where she is, but thank you for coming, saying. And fast forward, and what I want to do is just talk about what do we expect people to be doing at what ages, and what could and should we be doing. Well, they should, but yeah, there is a should. So, at the age of 52, I'm in a comms business. I could see the start of social media happening then. And I decided, actually, this is going to be really important. There were no courses around Eden at that time, and I had to go and I bought a whole pile for a holiday Saturday on search engine optimization, because I needed to understand what is all of this, how does it work, what's going on in the world. By the age of 57, it was just after that wretched financial crash, I could not get a PR business really sailing anymore in this country. So I went out to Dubai, I opened an office there, and for the next 6 years, I worked between Dubai and the UK. I also was asked to become one of the BBC's expert women because they were recognizing at last there weren't enough female voices on the news and in commentary. So I started appearing on TV, radio, online, and that sort of thing. Got to the age of 62, and I started seeing a lot of my peers retiring, and they had absolutely no idea what they were going to do. In fairness, a lot of them were Muslim men, but there were women there too. And I decided to start Next Up, and I started helping people use their skills in new ways once they sort of reached 50 and retirement and things. Luckily, I was married to a wonderful Yorkshireman who told me to squirrel money away, because to be honest, when I was in London, I had a great time, and I used to spend all the night out. And I always reckoned somehow or other I'll sort out this in somewhere, I'll earn more, get a promotion, it'll sort out. Luckily, he taught me the value of money and how to do that. So I had money squirreled away, and I had heard horrific stories about women trying to raise investment, and decided, frankly, I'm too old to be treated like the shit, I'm sorry, but the shit that most investors treat women. I have got too many friends. I thought I just can't be asked going through that. So luckily I had enough with this bootstrapping, and maybe I'm not flying the way we should do, but I'm having a good time with it. So last year then, age 67, I became a tech entrepreneur. And we created a platform, and we took all our learning with helping people with retirement. And we now have a platform to help people. It's planning what you're going to do, following with the money, that's so important. But the bit everybody's really struggling with is, what the heck am I going to do? And what we're doing is giving loads of ideas. It's got 200 plus video stories of people saying what they're doing, giving ideas and inspiration. So I would ask all of you, what age should we start becoming old? But much more to the point, what age should we stop becoming old? So I want to, if I say the word iris, or for the name Iris Apfel, can you all picture this wonderful model, huge glasses, flamboyant, wonderful fitting outfits? Do you know what age she was when she got her first modelling contract? Her first modelling contract. Anybody knows? 78? 78? It was 85 years old. Yeah. But she became a global, you all know what I'm talking about. She became a global household name from the age of 85. She only started at 85, for goodness sake. And she kept going until earlier this year, sadly, when she died. But she was 102, and that's a pretty good life. And then I want to talk about somebody after my own heart, Trisha Custon. I don't know if anybody's heard her name. So she had been in business, she'd been a coach. She'd reached the age of 65 and thought, I want something with a real purpose, I want to start something new. She looked around for problems to solve, as we tend to. And she realized that the makeup industry was really patronizing to older women. And she launched Look Fabulous Forever. And she's now 76, she's worth millions, and she's going strong. Yeah. And then there's a friend of mine, Jackie Utley. Now sadly she was widowed in her early 60s, but she eventually went back to dating, and she found the whole experience pretty horrific and hilarious. And she's written the book. If anything got publishing in here, she's looking for a publisher. And it's called 69 at 69. All these women doing amazing things in what you think was old age. When you say old age, do we imagine people like Iris and Jackie and Trisha and whoever? No. I think we've got the wrong impression about age altogether, and we have to make people of this. So, we have got a problem though, and that's that employers won't employ people aged over 50. I don't know whether anybody's come across this. The last few posts that I've had on my LinkedIn, I think it was 58,000 or 79,000 or something, sort of impressions, comments, 1,000 comments, all sorts of things. This is a real issue, and at the beginning, I didn't really totally believe it, if I'm honest, but the more I'm sort of campaigning on this, there's no question. We have 1 million people aged over 50 in this country who want to work, and they cannot get a job. It's absolutely ludicrous. Just think what the heck we're doing to society and country. And we're going to say we have a skills crisis. What on earth is going on? So we've also got the government not understanding. They're misinterpreting data. If anybody knows how I can get to the government, maybe. They do not understand the data. We've got Jeremy Hunt and Nell Stride going on about, oh, let's get all this 50 plus off the golf course and get them back to work. I'll tell you, they would love nothing more than to get back to work. And to be honest, a lot of people need to get back to work because they still need to earn money. So we need to change a lot of things at the moment. I also heard one employer, I kind of want to work with them all, so I'm not going to tell you who. They referred to their older employees as permafrost. I don't know whether you know that already, so it means you're half frozen. It's hotter than the Arctic Circle. It's land that's never deep frost. It's appalling, I'm near you. So we have got a real problem here. And if people don't have any sense of purpose, they age, they will become old, isolated in nursing homes. They're 2.5 more times likely to get Alzheimer's. I started Next Up because I wanted to help these people. We've been piloting all sorts of things to prove people have got fantastic skills, they can support society. We've been getting people venturing tech entrepreneurs, and they go, oh, not techie. I go, don't you worry, they're techie. And they bring all sorts of skills. It's absolutely fantastic. We've got people helping charities, starting businesses, coaches, all sorts of things. Age is not a barrier. I'm passionate about this because this is a real societal issue. We need to overhaul what we do. Yes, we need the government to start bringing in policies and incentives for employers to put not just people in their 50s, for goodness sake, but in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s. They do that in Japan. Why not here? It's ridiculous. So, yes, we want the government to do things, but actually all of us need to do things, all right? What do we need to do? So we're going to be bold, because today is all about being bold. Bold action number 1 is your money. I couldn't sort of emphasize more what I used to say. You may be one of the sad people or unlucky people who reaches 50 and nobody wants to employ you. You could be living for another 50 years. Have you got enough money to live that long, comfortably? Number 2, it's never too early to start thinking about, I don't want to say retirement because that's a horrid word, but what am I going to do for the next 50, 60, 70 years? I've seen people who left too late in the way to start thinking and planning, and they didn't have time to get the qualifications they want to test out ideas and things. It's just time to think and gently start planning and doing things. And next time you're in a group of friends and you go, we've got to change things, well, who is that person? Why not you? Who makes those changes? Think about you. You could pick up things now. What age are we to stop being bold? Why don't you do it? And then we absolutely have to rethink age. Let's stop talking about it as this ghastly negative downward spiral. It's a time to wash up. I'm having, you meet Gabba, the time of my life. I seriously am. It's been one of the hardest things ever, this business. I can't tell you, but the problem is who flipping pays for all of this. But we're getting there. And honestly, it is so rewarding. I'm having the full jump. Don't think of being cold as being miserable. It's the best time of life. Enjoy thinking about getting older. Over to you all then.